you go. All right, gang, welcome back to Greenhouse Lab. We've got a mini lesson today about our composting station. Today is an important day where we're going to turn it a little bit. Compost really is just rotting organic material. It's a whole bunch of stuff, from our food waste to our chicken waste to some yard scraps, that's all just left in a heap to decompose. This pile, I'm not specifically trying to compost with worms, and so we don't have the red wigglers from our worm farms in here. Instead, we're just letting nature take its course. And so what I'm expecting to see are a whole bunch of insects in here. I'm expecting to see sow bugs like roly-polies in here. I'm expecting to see some pretty decent decomposition. So if you take a look right on in here, you'll see that there's two sides to this composting station. On the left-hand side is the waste that we just took out of our chicken coop when we cleaned it today. That waste that's in the chicken coop is hot. It's got active manure in it, a whole bunch of ammonia, and tons of organic material for our decomposers to eat. What we want to do is to let nature take its course now. So to turn it, we want to make sure that we allow air into the various levels of this compost station. And so I'm using a pitchfork, just digging it right on in, and you can see as I go deeper, nice dark brown material, right? It's looking beautiful. You see that? This material is compost. It's organic material. It used to be food scraps, it used to be yard waste, it used to be chicken manure, all sorts of things in here. Some weeds from my front garden. All of this material, decomposers are going to break down and turn into just an amazing, wonderful, nutrient-rich fertilizer that we can add right to our garden space to provide all of the things that our gardens need in order to produce wonderful, wonderful vegetables and herbs. You can see here, if you get real close, we've got some worms, right? Look at that guy. And we also have a bunch of roly-polies crawling all around. I've turned it on over, so they're scrambling. Hundreds of them. Everywhere you look, there's creatures that are alive. And what they're doing is they are eating. They're breaking down this organic material into, there's a centipede right here. Do you see? Look at that guy. Yeah, that centipede there, he's a carnivore. He hunts. There's a slug. You see? Tons of stuff that's in here. Just a whole bunch of life. Here we have some eggshells. We add eggshells in here in order to add some calcium to the soil. And so by turning this all over like we're doing, we're allowing air to get into the pockets near the bottom. So our aerobic bacteria, the beneficial bacteria that we want, can grow in here and be healthy in here. So you got to turn it over every once in a while, every month or so, or 2 months, just to make sure that it gets nice amount of oxygen in through all the levels. The last thing I'm going to leave you with, I don't know if my son is the videographer today, Jeffrey Jr. And I don't know if he wants to add here, but we've just been down real close to this compost, and this compost is like fresh chicken manure and stuff like that. But if we take a deep breath, if we smell it, Jeffrey, does it smell gross?
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah.
What does it smell like?
chickens.
It smells a little bit like chickens? Yeah. It takes a good 9 months to make sure that all of the waste from your chickens is processed by these microorganisms and insects. And so you never ever want to use chicken manure right on top of your garden. This stuff we can use next growing season. So this whole area is going to be the layer that we put on top of our garden next year. It takes a while to make it though, okay? So always remember, when you're using animal manure, you want to make sure to give it a good 9 months to age. All right, so that's my lesson. What we did today, we looked at our compost station, we turned it over, blended it all together. We saw hundreds of roly-polies. They're everywhere you look. There's a whole colony of them in here. We saw a centipede, we saw a slug, we saw worms. If you were here right with Jeffrey and me right now, you'd see like the whole top layer of this area is moving with life. And that's what decomposition is. It's insects and microorganisms all eating organic material and turning it into compost that we're going to use in our sustainable garden. So there it is. There's my little lesson on our 2-bay composting station. We turned it. We saw the decomposers. I'll answer any questions that you have. But thanks for tuning in.